We got it right down, folks. Welcome back to Akron's hottest and fastest growing show, 3-3 to go. I'm your host, Hank Forster, coming to you live from Twinsburg, Ohio. We are at the Humane Society of Summit County, and I am joined here with two ladies that are in charge of a lot of the programming here. Three. She's really in charge. We're just here. This is her room. We're just hanging out. We got Louise and Carly here. We'll be joined by Ashley later, okay? And right now, hi. So now, I forgot to tell you, make sure you're talking like through the camera, okay? Say hi to 330.
Hi.
All right. So yeah, thank you so much for inviting us in today. We had a chance to see you guys out at a mobile event where you're, it's like a posh like bus for the animals, shows up, sets up, and you get the chance to go around town and have some of the animals showcased that are up for adoption. And that was at Rogue Awakening in Fairlawn. And I went and I talked with the lady that was running the table. She said, well, why don't you reach out to us and see if you can come on down to the main center. And here we are. So first question is, I was asked, tell us your 330 story. So tell us about you. Did you grow up here? Where'd you go to school? All that good stuff.
Yeah, we did. Go ahead, Carly.
All right. Well, I'm Carly. I'm our special events coordinator here at the Humane Society of Summit County. So I oversee all of our events, ranging from ones in the community or ones you buy a ticket for. So like our Bow Wow Bingo that we host, or our Possibility Ball. We just finished up our Pause for a Cause virtual walk. And also our Spring Pub Crawl, where we work with local breweries in Summit County. And I'm actually born and raised in Akron. I went to St. Vincent Mary High School.
Oh,
and
I didn't know that before we went live. She went to St. V.
I did.
I went to Oden. All right, so
I went to the Elk.
Okay, so we're right on all the roads right there. All right, so I'm sorry, keep going.
And I went to Akron University, and I graduated from there. And I kind of just hopped around Akron. Never thought I would stay here long term, but here I am, and I found a great job.
It just grabs you.
It does.
Akron
Akron is just in my blood, and I love it.
And that's how we all are. Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Okay, well, I grew up in Medina, and I went to the Elms in Akron.
Okay.
I moved away for a few years for college, and a few years after that, and then came back here to have our family, and I love animals, so came back to the Humane Society.
Nice.
And I'm the director of development here.
So, I'm very public with my kids, so everybody knows our whole story, but my kids all are in the Firestone cluster, so we only live like 2 or 3 minutes from the Elms. So I grew up, in over by St. Sebastian's.
Yeah.
And so you probably know there's that big stump with the sword sticking out.
Oh,
of it.
yeah, sure.
That's right by the Elms.
Yeah.
So that was stolen by somebody, ripped it right out, and it has been returned in a better version of it. Okay.
Yeah.
So next time you guys
Well, I remember the tree.
Yeah, next time you're in the neighborhood, just take a look
That's
by.
the neighborhood I grew up in. It's
Right.
by
Right.
St.
It is
Sebastian.
now a massive sword. Okay, so check that out. All right.
Yeah.
So so we're all local. That's cool. Now, this facility. How long have we been here in Twinsburg?
I'm gonna have to put Nessie down. She is very anxious to be on camera,
Okay.
and we will talk about her story in just a moment.
Okay.
Make sure but she is very squirrely. So we've been here. The Humane Society has been in existence for over 50 years, serving Summit County. We're an independent nonprofit organization. We are not affiliated with the Humane Society of the United States, other national organizations. We are funded and we serve animals in Summit County. We rescue animals that are victims of cruelty, abuse, neglect, and abandonment, and sick and injured strays. So the animals that we see here are medically intensive, they're behaviorally intensive, they're great animals, and they are eager to find their homes. This is only a temporary place too, so we're no time limit. Animals can stay as long as they need until they, if they're adoptable and they find a home with a loving family. So I hope that the people who are watching are interested in giving homes to animals.
Well, let's talk about that. And you had mentioned before we went on camera about that. What's the process in terms of an animal being turned in here? How does that work?
So we, as Louis said, we focus on the severely sick and injured of Summit County. So if you are out and about and you find a injured animal on the side of the road or just in your neighborhood, and you're able to get them and bring them into us, we will take in that animal, give them the medical attention and the behavioral attention that they might need. We also deal with cruelty cases as well, because we have the humane officers in Summit County, and we're the only one that has them, right? That does that. So our humane officers work and they follow up and investigate on calls about people leaving animals outside, hoarding cases, anything that might be adjusted cruelty to animals.
So what differentiates you guys between like yourselves and like a dog warden or somebody animal control? How's the relationship?
That's an excellent question. So there's a couple of things. The dog warden and Summit County Animal Control is a government-funded agency. That's funded by tax dollars. We're an independent nonprofit organization. The Summit County Animal Shelter serves animals that are owner surrenders, nuisance animals, and then we take in those sick and injured strays. So the kind of shorthand we like to say is that Summit County Animal Control protects people from animals, and we protect animals from people.
Okay. So how does that happen then? I mean, is there like a phone number to call, or so let's say that, and again, the goal is not for people, I don't want to use the term rat each other out, but if there's a suspected abuse, and I don't even know what that could be, like, like dog fighting or things things of that nature, or if they've got like 100 cats in their house and they can just tell that something's off. What's the process that somebody goes about to kind of alert you guys? How's that work?
Yeah, so people can call our direct line 330-4870-333 to report animal cruelty and neglect. But also we're a resource to the community. If somebody's having problems feeding their animals, finding care, we can provide referrals to help people get the care that they need for their animals, to be able to keep animals in living homes. Because as much as we can, we do seizures of animals when necessary, but as much as we can, we want to help people who are well-intentioned pet owners keep the animals that enrich their lives and that are benefiting from life in a home.
Right. All right. So now you'd also mentioned to me not necessarily taking in healthy animals, and I'll give you an example, and I'll use us as an example. Okay. So we had this was baby. Which baby was this? I think this was baby one. This baby one. Yeah, all right. So baby one's around. Baby two comes around, and we have wait. Hold on. Let me get this right. We had Micah. Micah was we had a black lab. Okay. Baby one. So baby one's born. Micah's looking for attention, and she did what labs do, and she ate stuff, and she got had to have surgery and got septic and died. Okay.
Aww.
So she was only like 2 years old. So really, that was our first baby before our baby, right? And so she passed away. This is like 17, 18, 19 years ago. So out of grief, we do what people do, right? So we waited a few months, and then it's like, we need to get a dog. We got to get a dog. We're missing our dog.
Yeah.
So we went and we found a situation where we walk into it was just this flea-infested house, and they had husky chows, a litter of like 6 or 8 of them. And in our brain, we're like rescuing these dogs from this situation, right? So we took 2 of them, all right? 2 girl husky chows named Thelma and Louise, okay? And we're thinking, okay, we just did our good deed, blah, 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 and then we start to raise these puppies. Well, first of all, if you're going to get a dog, no matter whether you're adopting, getting new, or whatever, make sure you do the research on the breed first before you adopt.
Yeah.
Because if you don't know what you're getting into, that's where we found ourselves. And so what you're not supposed to do ever is get 2 husky chows that are from the same litter that are the same sex. Because we got 2 females, and then immediately one has to dominate the other. And it took us like 2 years, and very quickly we realized we could not handle these dogs. And we had made a mistake, and we felt horrible. But at the same time now, for them, we needed to get them out of our house. We're both working like 14 hours a day. They're climbing the fence. The dog warden had us on speed dial. Like they would break out all the time. Okay, so we reached out. We didn't know what to do. I believe we called you guys or somebody, and there's a process there. In other words, we as owners, we made a mistake and we wanted to make sure that these dogs were adopted by loving, forever home people, okay? Which we did involve, they would go up to the Cleveland Animals Pet Place, turn them in, and they were adopted to farms, okay? So my question to you guys is, how do you handle that in regards to that situation? How does that work?
Well, the first thing we do is somebody calls us and they're saying they're having an issue like that, is we determine if it's possible to keep this animal in the home and providing resources like training. We provide public dog training here at the shelter. For animals that are adopted here, it's for the life of your pet. You can always call, and if necessary, we can bring you in and have our certified behaviorists work with you, work with your dog. It's as much about sometimes training the owner
Yep.
as it is about training the dog.
Yep.
So as much as possible, we want to keep those relationships. If you adopt from the Humane Society, we'll always take our animals back if the need arises, but we try to keep those animals in homes. And we don't always take owner surrenders because of the nature of our work. We do have a cyclical kind of intake where summer is typically very high.
Okay.
But sometimes of year, particularly in the winter months, we might be able to take a limited amount of owner surrenders. So people can always call and ask and get more information, and then we can help. If we can't help, we can help find the resources in the community to help those animals find homes. I would also say, and I do understand the situation that you're in when you were in there, and you're like, I need to get these puppies out of this situation, but I bet you paid for those puppies, didn't you?
I mean, yeah, we did when we brought the dogs in, we had to do all the initial vet
Oh, but did
stuff.
you pay when you adopted them,
No,
you bought them?
this was at a house.
Yeah.
We had
Oh, they
rescued
weren't
them
a
from a
breeder.
home. No.
Okay.
This was a situation where they had a full litter of dogs, and we just felt, okay, we want a dog, and they were in a bad situation.
Yeah.
So it was almost like we were doing like kind of what you guys do initially, and then we just got overwhelmed because of our
Sure.
it was mostly because we were working so much outside the home, and we didn't feel like we were being appropriate dog parents.
Mm-hmm.
So we felt it was better to give them up than to keep them in the situation we had them in.
Well, what I would have said about that is that you could call. You could call if you see a situation like that when you're trying to get a dog. You see a situation like that. That sounds like something that you could report. That we can at least investigate, check out, and make sure that those animals are housed properly. And second, if you see animals if you're responding to an ad in the newspaper for puppies for sale, and you see that situation, if you buy those puppies, you might be perpetuating the problem because you're providing an incentive for them to keep treating animals like that. So I'd say to report situations like that, and don't buy from situations where you are concerned about how puppies are being treated, because that just means more puppies, more mothers are going to be subjected to that inhumane treatment down the road. You don't want to be part of the problem.
Yeah, and that's interesting. And again, we were young parents. This was almost 20 years ago, and we wouldn't think about all that.
Yeah. It's complicated.
Yeah. So, all right. So now, so how does the process work in terms of adoption? So, when we were pulling in, there was a gentleman that was here for an appointment, and I think it looked like a massive, like a bull mastiff or something, goes walking by, and I think that was the appointment. Is there and I think I mentioned this in the last interview with the mobile unit, you guys have like a website, or how does that work? So talk us through the adoption process.
So right now, because once COVID things started happening, we used to have, you come into the shelter, you look around, you see if anybody interests you, and then, we set you up with an adoption counselor, and you can adopt that day, or, put an animal on hold, have introductions, things like that. We're doing things, because of COVID, we started doing adoptions by appointment, and actually we're going to keep doing that forever, because it gives us an opportunity to get to know people over the phone before they come in. It saves a lot of people's time on the front end, and then we can better match the animal for your home situation. So if we know you have 2 small children in the home, we're not going to recommend 2 sister chows that are going to be crazy amount of work. We'll probably recommend a different kind of dog a different dog that's behavior tested, that we know is good with young children, that's not going to be guarding their resources.
So there's some counseling on the front end then.
Absolutely, because we want to make sure that these animals are successful. So if you have young children in the home, if you're a very active person or a very not active person, we can help match with an animal that meets what you're looking for. But then we do appointments that day or the next day often, and you can come in. If you already have a dog in the home, you can bring your dog in to meet a new dog. And it's a pretty easy process. Our adoption counselors are lovely. They're wonderful to work with, and they complete families every day, and that's one of my favorite things to see is when people, find their new family member. It's kind of a day they'll always remember.
Now, like I said, we're in West Akron, so our dog is a one-of-a-kind pet dog, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, you buy the dog, and it comes with, I'm sorry, cat. I'm sorry. You buy the dog, it comes with its shots and all that stuff. I'm assuming you guys do the same thing. Could you talk me through that?
Absolutely, yes.
So any animal that comes in through our doors, whether it's a rescue that we get from a Good Samaritan or we take it in from a situation, we always vet them to see what they're up to date on, and then we provide everything that they need ready to be out the door to be adopted out. So that includes all their shots, if they need to be spayed or neutered. We do work with them behaviorally, so there is a time period that they're not available for adoption, just so we can get that behavioral gauge on them to see, as Liz was saying, if they're good with young kids, if they're an only dog home, if they're good with other dogs, and then we'll put them up on our website, which is at summithumane.org, and you can go and look at all of our available dogs and cats and other critters that we take in.
Okay. Hey, producer lady, have there been any comments or questions coming in or anything?
Got my senior kitty there. Best decision I ever made adopting him. And
Thank
then
you for
fur
adopting.
babies.
Yeah, all right. So and again, yes, we call them fur babies, and the goal here is to find their forever homes, right? So what I'm gonna do right now, I'm gonna flip with you. You come on out here, okay? And we're gonna take a look at some cats, and I know that you wanna get involved with, what's her name, Nessie?
So we have about, although there's fewer cats available on our website, like Carly said, when we take in animals, they're typically animals that have medical needs. So we have about 100 cats in the building right now, and a little over half of those are available for adoption. The rest are still recovering from whatever situation they were in. We wanted to introduce you to Nessie today because she is a very social girl. As you can tell, she's crawling all over.
Yeah, she was
She's
real.
very excited to come out.
Did you, when we were filming earlier, did you see her paw like smacking at the back of car?
She was a stray, and she had a litter of kittens. Her kittens have all been adopted.
Okay.
And she was extremely friendly. I think it was her, neighbors were feeding her and taking care of her and things. So she's really used to being around people, as you can tell. I think that she would do well in a home where somebody could pay a lot of attention to her, where she could have a lot of stimulation even. Because she seems like she is a girl that would really love that.
Go ahead.
Do you
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, she doesn't bite. She's just a sweetheart.
It's funny. My wife grew up on a farm down in Yellow Springs.
Yeah.
And they had a barn cat, and the cat would have a litter like every year, and they would just keep feeding the cat. The cat like lived outside.
Yeah.
On the farm until like 15, 16, 17 years old, and just stayed there. And then, of course, they kept the entire property rodent free, right?
Oh,
so
I'm sure, yes.
so they encouraged that. All right, so we're gonna just take a look around the room here.
Let's see who else is here. Leo was part of a smaller hoarding situation. There were 10 other cats in the home. They were all named after zodiac signs when they got here. But they were all a little bit shyer, but we've been working with them behaviorally and getting them to come out of their shells. So I can tell for sure that between when he got here and today, he's definitely a more outgoing kitty, a more curious boy. So that's Leo. I'm trying to see if I know any other stories. Well, I don't know her story, but Jasmine here, this little black kitty, she's FIV positive, and that means she has an immune condition. It is not typically contagious to other cats in a home. It would take like a serious bite, I believe, and it doesn't really diminish their quality of life. So we see a lot of FIV positive cats. We do make our adopters aware of any conditions that are ongoing with our felines. So sometimes we do adopt out animals that still have some ongoing medical treatment that we'll continue to support, to get those conditions remedied. And sometimes it's something that adopters will assume, but we can talk about that when you come in.
I'm just gonna scan the room. You don't have to tell me all their stories, but I find it interesting that you know most or all of their stories. And it's
but
also.
We do see. I mean, they come and go so fast. It is hard to keep up on everybody's stories. We do have a lot of our adult cats. It's kind of slowing down right now, their adoption rates, because we're getting kittens in. So we have an extra 100 or 150 mother cats and kittens in foster care right now. So they are slowly starting to come back. And if you're interested in adopting a kitten, you can call us, because we have a waiting list. So you could call our shelter to be added to that if you're interested, because they don't even have time to come into the shelter for a day to be adopted.
We got a couple questions coming in right here.
Okay.
So let me show some of the cats here real quick, and then we'll get those questions answered. This is Kenmore.
I have a wild guess about where he was born.
He is a big boy.
Yeah, and it looks like he had a little bit of a head trauma that the vet dealt with.
Looks like he came from Metro.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, so let me get some of these questions answered here. All right, so first off, and it's interesting, a lot of these cats can be adopted older, right?
Yes.
And somebody said here, where'd it go?
It's such a gift to adopt an older cat.
Got my senior kitty there because, okay, someone got their senior kitty here. Somebody said adopted Merlin, the husky, back in 2018. Gave him the best final years of his life. He slept all day and he was the king of my castle. And then somebody asked, how do you go ahead and, if they've adopted here already, can they bring them back in if they weren't neutered, or how do they get them more care? How does that work?
Okay, so if you adopted from here, the animal would be spayed or neutered.
Okay.
But if you need continuing care, once an animal is adopted, their veterinary care becomes the responsibility of the adopter.
Okay.
But we do have some resources that we can help refer you to for low cost, basic veterinary
Gotcha.
care.
Okay. All right. Next it says somebody wants to see the dog. So we got a dog.
Let's go see a dog.
Let's go see a dog. All right. And we talked off the air that we're not going to show the whole kennel because it's just so loud and so obnoxious, and we understand that.
It's
so
very stimulating for the dog.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
But this will be a better way to showcase a dog's true personality by just meeting one dog in a more comfortable setting.
So just to give an idea, what are we in right now? What is this? What is this room right here?
Well, so
the bigger one we're in, and all these are these exam rooms or?
This is actually, well, we have cats up here right now. This is a vacant part of our building. Hattie Larlin used to have their offices in here, and they moved out to Manawing to consolidate their operation. And this was empty for a year, and we're like, you know what? Our cats need natural light. So we moved most of our cats up into these vacant offices so they have some natural light. And for COVID, it's super nice that there's these individual rooms. So if 4 groups of adopters come in, they each have an individual room to be able to meet cats in.
Okay, so this part here is relatively new then?
Yes, and it's not fully outfitted for.
No, and that's fine, and that's the beauty of it. I mean, you guys are in transition. The whole world's in transition right now.
Right.
So that's good. All right.
Yeah, but we're providing the best. If we can provide natural light for our animals, we absolutely want to do that. And somebody here is very excited to see us.
This is little girl.
Little girl.
Little
This is
girl.
Ashley. This is our colleague Ashley. She's a professional dog trainer, and she does all of our behavior work. I'll let you talk about your work here at the shelter.
Yeah, I'm the behavior supervisor. I've been with the organization 13 years. So I currently work hands-on with the animals that we have on site, getting them behaviorally ready for adoption, as well as keeping them comfortable. And then I do work with some of the public as well as animals that are adopted from our facility. So at this present time, we are able to offer assistance for any animal that's adopted from our shelter. Are you nervous, sweetie?
So what? Tell us about little girl's story.
So little girl came to our organization through our owner surrender program. Family reached out and were overwhelmed. They had 6 dogs and several cats in the homes that they were struggling to just financially keep up with the care that they needed. So before things got out of hand, they reached out to us, and we were able to take little girl and the rest of her family.
Okay.
She had puppies.
She
Pretty
did not.
recently.
She did not currently have puppies, but
Okay.
they said that she had had puppies in the past. Yes.
Nervous. It's hard being famous. It's hard being famous.
So capacity wise, what do you guys typically have as far as dogs and cats right now, as far as what's available to adopt?
Yeah, so we have maybe 60 dogs in the building and about 20 available for adoption. They're all on our website.
Yes.
And we have the capacity to hold 100, a little over 100 dogs at a time, but it's tight.
Yeah.
So when we don't have to be at that max capacity, that's great. We have the capacity for about 300 cats at a time. And right now we're at about 100 cats and then 150 in foster care. But we serve about 2,500 animals a year, about 2/3 cats and 1/3 dogs. And then also small animals, rabbits, guinea pigs, hamsters, things like that. But our humane officers will rescue any animal that is in danger. So we have chickens right now, which is not something we want to have long term because this isn't the ideal situation for them. But we have chickens. They've rescued peacocks recently. We've rescued pigs.
And
We've done
Piranha
horses.
was the weirdest one that
Yes.
I've
You had a horse?
through here.
We've done it was years ago.
Yeah.
We've taken our humane officers rescue some horses, and we work with other organizations
Gotcha.
that are suited for it.
Okay.
We said a piranha.
We've had piranhas before.
Piranhas.
That's probably the weirdest.
Fish.
Yep.
Just they drop fish off. Sorry, we can't.
Yeah, somebody left them. It was in a vacant property. There was dogs and cats in the property, and the piranhas were discovered at the time.
It's better to drop them here than to flush them. I mean,
Right.
they show
Oh, you don't want that.
they show up. They show up in a river or a pond somewhere down the road.
Honestly, though, that is a concern. I do think people probably do let pets that would be invasive, perhaps, free in local waterways and in the park and stuff. That is definitely not not what we would recommend to do. If we can't take an animal, we can help find a place that can take an animal. So don't be afraid. No one should be afraid to call us because we want to be that resource.
So Gary said he used to work as a humane officer years ago on call rescue. So he said great people.
Thank you.
Old Teddy the Yeti guy or something. I don't know. He put a hashtag in there, so you'll have to read that later.
Okay.
Now, as far as you had mentioned that it's busier over the summer, and I'm guessing it's because we're just out of our houses and we see strays and stuff, right? And on top of that, I had always heard when we had done some of these shows from some of these other agencies, big turn-in time is like February, March, and it's after those Christmas gifts have been around for a few months, and it's like someone goes and they buy a cat or a dog for somebody, and they're like, yeah, that was not, yeah,
and kitten grows up.
Yeah. So I can see how it fluctuates and grows like that. All right,
Cats too are very seasonal. So kitten season is a big part of our work. We'll rescue over 1,000 kittens this year, and so that happens mainly during those warmer summer months. And street dogs are on the move typically, so more likely to be hit by cars. And you're right, people are the people who are kind of the eyes and ears in the community who are able to report those things. And if you see something, say something.
Yep.
We can check it out. We can provide resources to owners if they need help, and we can take in animals when necessary. So if you see something, give us a call.
All right, well, that's pretty much it, ladies. Is there anything else, any final thoughts that you'd like to share about anything?
We would love to see you if you are interested in adopting. Please give us a call, make an adoption appointment, visit us online and see what animals we have available, and it changes every day.
Yep.
So if you're not seeing the dog with the right personality, keep looking, keep an eye on it. Follow us on Facebook. We advertise our dog and cat of the week, so we're always promoting new animals, and there's an animal for every home. I truly believe that, and giving a loving home to a rescue it's the best thing you can do for your family and the best thing you can do to save the life of an animal.
Okay. Well, once again, ladies, thank you so much for having us out, and we really appreciate sharing your story and your information, and just what you guys do for the community. And once again, folks, we'll put all the links up in the comments where you can come and you can take a look if you're looking for a fur baby and you're looking to help out. Or, again, if you're looking and need a surrender situation, or if you need help or any kind of counseling in regards to your animals, please reach out to them as well. Okay? That's it for now from here. Me and Kate are going to be live tonight from Madcap Brewery, where we're going to be featuring a brand new food truck debuting here in the 330. Until then, I don't know where I'm going, but there ain't no sense of being late. Everybody, and you ladies too, say goodnight, Shirley.
Good night,
Good night, Shirley.